Hello, welcome to Snuggle Up. Make yourself comfortable. Lie down in a comfortable position. Now, close your eyes. Relax yourself. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Today, we are going to listen to the story of Dara. Once upon a time, there was a little girl named Dara. She was a pretty girl, and she had a kind father and mother, but was a very unhappy little girl. Everyone who knew was sorry for her because she always seemed to be so sad. She lived in rather a poor little house, and her father went to work, but his pay was not much, so there was not enough money to spend. One day, she came back from school and found her mother was very busy. The baby was also crying in the cot. Her mother was trying to cook the evening meal, but she had to keep on getting up to comfort the baby. The house looked untidy and uncomfortable, and Tara peeped in. As soon as she saw how it was, she slipped away and said to thought of reflection, "If I show myself, Mother will ask me to sweep the floor, polish the brass pots, comfort the baby, and do all sorts of work. I have been to school and learned to read. Why should I do household chores and comfort crying babies?" So off she went to a little mango grove not far away, and there she sat in a cool shade of a tree. Presently, a beautiful and colorful macaw perched in the tree over her head. It was so beautiful. Nobody could miss out its beautiful, colorful feathers. The macaw cried, "Little girl, what are you doing here, all alone under a tree?" "I am thinking," said Tara. "I'm a very unfortunate girl with a poor father who cannot afford me silk dresses, hair ornaments, gold necklace, etc. My mother always wants me to sweep the floor, clean the pots, or to comfort babies. Can I never be rich? I have a picture of a queen in my book. She has a beautiful crown. It was full of jewels, and she also had necklaces of pearls. No doubt she has nothing to do and is happy throughout the day." "Poor little Tara," said the macaw. "It is sad that you can't be happy. Come, I'll take you out in the world and show you some of the richest and happiest people I know. Just pick a few berries for me to eat." The bird flew down as Tara did so. The macaw picked out a few from her hand and swallowed them. Then the macaw grew and grew and grew until it was in a size which she could carry a whole human being. But It was still lovely and colorful as before. The feathers were even more brighter when the macaw spread its wings in the free air. The sun rays passed through its feathers, and as if a whole new rainbow has appeared in the sky. Climb on my back, nestle down among my warm feathers, and we will fly far to see some people in the world, said the macaw. Hold fast, cried the macaw, as Tara clung to her. At first, Tara feared, but no sooner she got used to it. She looked down with great interest as they flew over forests, plains, and rivers. When Tara looked down, the fields looked like little patches on a quilt. Some were green with young rice plants, others were black or red according to the color of earth, and on some of them she could see tiny specks moving about. Those were the men and bullocks plowing and sowing. They passed over villages and towns until at last Tara fell asleep. When she woke up, the bird spoke to her. Put your hand under my right wing, where you will find some white powder. Rub a little of it on my head and your forehead. What is that for? Asked Tara, filled with curiosity. It will make us invisible, said the macaw. Tara did so, and a miracle happened. Soon they both became invisible. Are we really invisible? Asked Tara. Yes, said the macaw. Nobody can see us or even hear us. Come, let's go into the palace. Tara was rather scared as they entered the palace, but soon understood that no one saw them and was out of fear. As they entered a gorgeous room, Tara saw a beautiful little princess sitting sadly. She was dressed in silk, had pearls round her neck, and wore a large nose ring. She was turning over a box of jewels. A maid held up string after string of pearls and diamonds. See, princess, these lovely jewels your father has given you, said she. Oh, yes, I suppose they are lovely, said the princess, yawning as she spoke. The door opened and another maid came in. She carried a lovely dress of pink silk with a gold border. Your mother sends her greetings, princess, and this costly dress. The princess looked up. Very pretty, she said, but I would have liked a blue one better. Put it in my cupboard and convey my wishes to my mother. Oh dear, how dull it is to be a princess. Why can't I be a poor girl and go to school with other children? Why can't I go to the bazaar on Saturday and buy grain, vegetable like other little girls? Why can't I grind and cook like other little children? Oh, princess, said the maid, think how you could spoil your beautiful silk dress. Your hands would get hard with grinding. The smoke of the fire would spoil your lovely pearls. I don't want pearls and silks. I want something to do. She doesn't seem to be happy, does she? Said the macaw to Tara. Come, I will show you someone else, said the macaw as they slipped out of the palace and flew to another great city. Here lives a very different sort of princess. Come, she is just going to bed. We will slip in and see her. No one noticed them as they walked into the palace, and the macaw led Tara into a nice room where a little girl was sitting on her mother's lap. Tell me, darling, said the mother, have you led a happy day today? Asked mother. Oh yes, said the child. In the morning I did much nice lessons and read the new books from the library. Then I went out, and while I was out I met out a poor little girl who had nothing to eat. So I gave her the money you had given me for buying sweets. She was so glad, and I was also glad to see her happy. Then this afternoon I went to the hospital where all the people were sad and sick. I gave some oranges and bread and felt glad on seeing them happy. When I came back home, I went to the kitchen and learned how to cook. They weren't very good, I'm afraid, but I shall try again tomorrow, because you have already taught me that everyone should know to cook. Now, my queen mother, tell me what you have been doing today, she said, putting her arms around her mother's neck and kissing her. You look rather tired. Yes, my dear, I'm rather tired, for I have been very busy. Now I'm afraid I must go and get dressed up, for another king and queen are coming to dinner tonight. Oh dear, I'll be very tired before I go to bed. Just then the macaw touched Tara. Come, we have to leave if we are going to visit another palace tonight. Tara put her arm around the bird's neck. I like the queen, she said. She looks so kind, but I did not know it was such hard work being a queen. I didn't think queens ever got tired. The bird chuckled. You are learning new things. Now I'm going to show you a different queen. She flew a little way out of the town and stepped before a small house. It was warm and comfortable as they entered in, but evidently it belonged to quite a poor family. A woman lay on a cot with a tiny baby beside her, and a girl of about Tara's age was very busy cooking. The brass pots shone like gold. The firelight and rose smell from the one that was steaming on the fire. My dear daughter, where are you? Called a voice from outside. The little girl jumped up and ran to the door. Here I am, father dear. All is well. Mother is sleeping, so is the baby. I have had a lovely day. You didn't think I would keep the house so well, did you? I have been so busy. I swept the house, washed the baby's clothes, and cooked some porridge for Mom. She said it was quite good, and now I have cooked your food, and I do hope it is good. Her father kissed her and said, "You haven't had any time to sit or play." "No, not a moment," answered the little girl proudly. "But it is much nicer to do things than to play like a baby. And besides, it makes me happy to do things for you and Mom than to play. I like to see her resting on the bed with baby while I do the work. That makes me much happier than sitting about doing nothing." Tara turned the macaw and said, "Take me home quickly. I want to go and help Mother and Father like this. I would sweep and cook and look after our baby just as well as the little girl." "Climb onto my back and close your eyes," said the macaw. Tara did as she was told. When she reached home, Mother asked her, "Where have you been, my child?" "I went in search of happiness, Mother. But then, now I have understood that it can be found at home." She moved quickly around the house, swept the floor, polished the brass pots, and sang to the baby. She told her mother about her wonderful adventures. "Mother, now I have understood that true happiness does not come by possessing gold, jewels, and silk, but by trying to make other people happy." From that day, there was nowhere to be found a happier little girl than Tara. She was always ready to help a school friend. Her mother found her to be the most useful girl. The macaw sat on the tree outside the door and sang joyfully.